All right, let's dive into the world of assaying, getting you prepped for that interview. We're talking precious metals, high-tech analysis. It's a career that's really hot right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to give you all the tools and knowledge, not just to answer the questions, but really show them what, your passion for the field.
Love it. And we've got some great resources: career guide, Assayer, interview guide, Assayer, plus some cool stuff on RoleCatcher, that AI platform. We'll pull from all three to make sure you're totally ready.
How good.
Before we jump into the interview questions, though, let's paint a picture of what an assayer actually does. What are some of the key things from the career guide?
Well, it really highlights how much assayers do. Beyond just lab work, you could be traveling to mines, working with cutting-edge tech like AI analysis tools, and even contributing to sustainability.
Yeah.
It's a dynamic field that keeps changing.
AI in assaying. Now that's fascinating. Tell me more about that.
Oh, for sure. AI is being used to automate all sorts of processes, analyze data way more efficiently, and even predict the properties of metals. So assayers need to be ready to adapt and learn new technologies.
So you're not just working with precious metals, you're on the cutting edge of tech too. Pretty cool.
Exactly. And talking about staying ahead, the career guide mentions how important it is to keep learning if you want to move up. Conferences, online courses, staying current on all the latest publications, being committed to education is key.
Makes sense. Now let's hit those interview questions head on. You've got some common ones from the interview guide, Assayer. So let's break down how to tackle each one. The first is a pretty basic one. Can you explain your experience with chemical analysis?
Right, it might seem simple, but this is where you connect your lab experience to the world of assaying. Don't just list techniques, explain how you've used them to analyze metals. Like, if you've used titration, talk about how that's crucial for finding out the purity of gold or silver.
So it's all about making it relevant to what an assayer actually needs. What kind of follow-up questions might they ask?
They might dig deeper into specific techniques. For instance, what are some challenges you faced with titration, and how did you handle those? They're looking to see how well you solve problems, how you think in the lab.
That's where practice comes in.
Yep.
And that's where RoleCatcher and its AI can really change the game. Their platform has a ton of interview questions, and they're specific to roles like Assayer. You can practice answering them, and you get AI-powered feedback on your responses.
It's like having a personal coach who's analyzing everything and telling you what to improve. The AI might suggest using better examples or sounding more confident.
That's incredible. Okay, let's move on to the next one. How do you ensure accuracy and precision in your assay results? This one's all about quality control, right?
Exactly. Think about how you've kept high standards in the lab before. Calibrated equipment, double-checking calculations, proficiency testing programs. Be specific and show them you get how important it is to have reliable results in assaying.
What kind of follow-up questions could they ask to dig into your quality control experience?
They might ask something like, can you describe a time you found a discrepancy in your results? What did you do? This is your chance to show your analytical skills and how you handle potential errors.
Having real examples ready to go can make you stand out. It shows you've actually used those concepts, not just that you're familiar with them.
For sure. And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze your answers to these questions and give you tailored feedback. It might suggest adding details that show you're careful and committed to accuracy.
Okay, another question. How do you handle unexpected challenges during an assay? This one feels like they're testing how you think on your feet.
It is. You want to show them you have a structured way of solving problems. Describe a time you faced a challenge in an assay, how you figured out what was going on, the steps you took, and what you learned from it.
It's like you're telling a story that shows you're competent and can handle tough situations in the lab.
Exactly. And remember, RoleCatcher can give you feedback on how to structure these stories, making sure you really hit the mark. The AI can analyze it all and suggest improvements to your delivery.
All right, next question. How do you stay up to date with new assay methods and technologies? This is important with the field changing so fast.
Right. Mention specific journals you read, conferences you attend, online courses you've taken. If you're a member of a professional organization like the Society of Mining, Metallurgy, and Exploration, that also shows your commitment to staying current.
So you're not just saying you're a lifelong learner, you're giving them proof.
Exactly. And don't forget, RoleCatcher can help you show off these efforts. Their platform lets you keep track of all your professional development, which is super helpful when you're tailoring your resume or cover letter.
Makes sense. All right, let's shift gears a bit to safety. The next question is, how do you ensure safety for yourself and others in the laboratory?
This is huge in any lab setting, especially when you're working with materials that could be hazardous. Show them, the safety protocols, talk about risk assessments, handling chemicals properly, using safety gear, and what to do in emergencies. Be specific. It shows you take safety seriously.
And the career guide really emphasized that, right? Assayers need to prioritize safety above everything else.
It's not just about you, it's about everyone around you and the lab environment itself.
All right, a more technical question. Can you explain your experience working with instrumentation such as mass spectrometry or chromatography? They want to know you have hands-on experience with the tools of the trade.
If you've got experience with these techniques, describe specific projects where you use them, the methods, the results you achieved. If you're familiar with other instruments used in assaying, like fire assay or ICP-AES, mention those too.
And what if you don't have a ton of experience with those exact instruments?
Honesty is always the best policy. You can say, hey, I might not have worked with that specific instrument, but I'm a quick learner and I have skills from using similar equipment. Emphasize your ability to grasp new tech. That's a huge plus in any scientific field.
And I bet RoleCatcher can help you highlight those transferable skills on your resume and cover letter, making sure they fit the specific job you're applying for.
Totally. The AI can look at your skills and experience and suggest ways to present them so they're really appealing to potential employers.
Okay, another one that tests your problem-solving skills. Can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot an assay that wasn't giving you the expected results? What's the best way to approach this one?
Pick a specific example that shows your analytical and critical thinking skills. Walk them through your process, how you identified the problem, how you investigated, what solutions you considered, and the outcome.
So it's like telling a story that proves you're capable and can handle challenges in the lab.
Precisely. And remember, RoleCatcher can give feedback on how to make those stories really impactful. The AI analyzes your answers and might suggest improvements to your delivery, making sure you're hitting all the right points.
All right. How do you ensure the confidentiality of assay results and data? This seems to be about ethics and being professional.
Absolutely. Highlight that you understand data security protocols, how to store sensitive information properly, and your commitment to keeping things confidential, especially with valuable materials like precious metals. You can even mention specific software or procedures you've used to keep data safe and accurate.
So it's about showing them you're trustworthy, which is huge when you're dealing with sensitive info in this field.
Exactly. And don't forget, RoleCatcher can help you show off those qualities in your application. Their platform lets you highlight your commitment to ethical practices and data security, making you stand out as someone reliable.
Okay, this one's interesting. How do you communicate assay results and their implications to stakeholders? Sounds like it's testing how well you communicate, especially explaining complex stuff to people who aren't scientists.
Exactly. It's all about tailoring your communication to the audience. Can you explain technical findings clearly? Can you use visuals or graphs to present data effectively? Can you adjust your language depending on who you're talking to, a scientist, a manager, or a client?
So you need to be a flexible communicator, making sure everyone understands what your findings mean.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher can help you hone those skills. Their AI can analyze your communication style and give you feedback, suggesting ways to improve your clarity, conciseness, and make sure you connect with different types of people.
Okay, last question for now. How do you prioritize and manage your workload in a laboratory setting? They want to know how you handle multiple tasks and deadlines.
Show them you're organized and good with time management. Describe how you plan your work, prioritize based on what's urgent and important, and manage your time to hit those deadlines. You can even talk about specific tools you use, like project management software or to-do lists.
It's about proving that you're organized, efficient, and can handle a fast-paced lab.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher can help you highlight those skills in your application. Their platform lets you show off your organizational skills and time management, making you look like a super productive and dependable candidate.
Wow, we've covered a ton already, but we're just getting started. There are more interview questions to go through. Plus, we've got more tips to help you land that Assayer job.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll keep diving into the world of assaying and give you everything you need to nail that interview. Ready for some more interview questions?
You bet. Let's jump right in. This next one can be a little tricky. Why are you interested in this specific assayer role? You can't just say, I like working with precious metals, right?
Nope, definitely not. You want to show that you've actually researched the company. You understand what they focus on, what they need, what are they known for, what projects are they working on. Connect those to your skills and what you want to achieve in your career.
So if they're big on sustainable mining, and I happen to have experience with eco-friendly assay techniques, I should definitely mention that.
Exactly. It shows you've thought about how your skills can help them specifically.
Okay, now for the question everyone hates. What are your salary expectations? Any advice on handling that one?
Do your homework. Research typical salaries for assayers in your area. Look at your experience level. Sites like Glassdoor can help with that. Have a realistic range in mind, but also make it clear that you're more interested in the right opportunity, not just the biggest paycheck.
And the career guide did mention that assayers can earn a good living. So you can definitely go for a salary that reflects your skills and what you bring to the table.
Absolutely. Know your worth.
Okay, this question lets you show your passion. What excites you most with the future of assaying?
This is your time to shine. Think about all the cool stuff we talked about, the new technologies, the focus on sustainability, the growing demand for precious metals. What really gets you excited about those changes?
Personally, I'm fascinated by how AI is changing assay processes, making them faster and more accurate.
Maybe you're passionate about finding new ways to extract precious metals while being kind to the environment, reducing the impact of mining.
This is where you let your enthusiasm and your interest in the field really show.
It also proves you're thinking ahead, looking at the long-term future of assaying.
Now for a tough one. What are your weaknesses? No one likes admitting their flaws. How do we answer this strategically?
Be honest, but talk about a weakness that you're working on improving. For example, maybe you get caught up in the details, which can slow you down, but you're learning to delegate tasks better.
So you're admitting a potential problem, but you're also showing that you're self-aware and committed to improving.
It all goes back to that idea of lifelong learning being essential for assayers.
Here's another classic. Tell me about a time you made a mistake at work. How did you handle it?
Look, we all make mistakes. It's what you learn from them that counts. Pick a situation that shows you're responsible, good at solving problems, and you can learn from setbacks.
Let's say I messed up a measurement in the lab, but I reported it right away, fixed the error, and created a new procedure to prevent it from happening again.
Exactly. That shows you take responsibility and you're proactive about fixing things and preventing future errors.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? This one's all about your career goals and how they fit with the company's plans.
Think about your long-term goals. Do you see yourself specializing in a specific area of assaying, moving into a leadership position, contributing to research and development? Make sure your goals connect with the opportunities they offer.
I can use the career guide for ideas on different career paths in assaying, right?
Definitely. It's a great place to see what kind of growth and specialization is possible.
This next one is often overlooked, but it's important. Do you have any questions for us? This shows that you're engaged, curious, really interested in the role.
Have some good questions ready beforehand. You could ask about the company culture, their specific assaying techniques, or their plans for future projects.
What about asking about chances for professional development or mentorship?
That's a great one. It shows you're eager to learn, grow, and contribute to the company for a long time.
We've covered a lot of common interview questions, but RoleCatcher can actually help you prepare for way more than this, right?
Oh, yeah. Their AI-powered interview prep is really comprehensive. You can practice with tons of questions, all tailored to specific jobs, get personalized feedback, even practice with video for a confidence boost.
It's like having a virtual coach guiding you all the way.
Speaking of RoleCatcher, let's talk about their tools for tailoring CVs and resumes. We talked about how a lot of hiring is automated now with algorithms, scanning applications, looking for keywords and skills.
Right, you almost have to beat the robot recruiter to get noticed.
That's where RoleCatcher really shines. Their AI looks at job postings and tells you how to improve your CV and resume, helping you get past those algorithms and increasing your chances of being selected for an interview.
Like having a personal marketing expert, helping you create the perfect pitch for each job.
They even have this cool feature where you can compare different versions of your CV and pick the one that best matches the job requirements. Takes the guesswork out of applying.
And don't forget their massive database of career guides, skill guides, and employer records. It's a one-stop shop for job seekers.
It's an amazing tool for anyone looking for a job, especially in today's competitive market.
We've covered so much today, from what an assayer does to nailing those interview questions and using the power of RoleCatcher.
But hold on, there's more. In part 3, we'll look at those final touches that can make a real difference in your interview, like making a great first impression and handling those unexpected curveball questions gracefully.
Okay, back for the final part of our Assayer deep dive. We've talked about the role, those tough interview questions, even how RoleCatcher can help with its AI. Now, let's focus on those little things that can really make you shine.
Right, presentation, those subtle details that make a lasting impression.
First impressions are everything. What about clothes? What should you wear to an Assayer interview?
It's always a good idea to check out the company culture, but leaning towards professional is always safe. At least business casual, neat and tidy, looking sharp.
Yeah, those details matter. Polished shoes, looking well-groomed, confident posture. It all adds up.
Absolutely. It shows you're serious about the opportunity, you respect their time, and for an assayer, that attention to detail really matters.
Speaking of details, what about that first interaction, even before they start asking questions?
Be ready for a little small talk. Could be about the weather, or maybe you saw something cool on their website, a recent accomplishment. You might even find you have a shared interest from your research.
It's like a mini assay itself, right? Looking for those points of connection, building a good rapport.
Exactly. And remember, the career guide talked about how assayers often work with other professionals, chemists, metallurgists. Good communication skills are key.
So even small talk is a chance to show you can connect with people. Once the interview really starts, how do we make our answers stand out?
Enthusiasm. Let your passion for assaying come through. Remember all the exciting stuff we talked about. AI, sustainability, the growing need for precious metals. Let that excitement into your answers.
So it's okay to let a bit of personality in there, not be totally serious and robotic.
Of course. A little humor, when appropriate, can help them remember you. Shows you're comfortable and confident.
That balance, right? Professional, but also engaging. We've prepped for the usual questions, but what about those curveballs? Those out-of-the-blue questions you don't expect?
Don't freak out. Take a second to think. If you need them to explain, just ask. It's better to be clear than to answer the wrong question.
That's where practicing with RoleCatcher's AI is helpful. You get exposed to all sorts of questions, get comfortable thinking on your feet.
Like a sparring partner for your brain. You train for those unexpected punches, learn to react on the spot.
Okay, let's talk about finishing strong. How do we end the interview on a high note?
Remind them you're excited about the role, the company. Quickly sum up your strengths, how they match what you talked about earlier.
And of course, thank them for their time and consideration.
Thank you for the opportunity to learn more about this exciting role. Simple, but effective.
Before we wrap this up, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. Remember how we talked about how important sustainability is becoming in assaying?
Yeah, it's really changing the whole field.
So here's your challenge. Knowing how much emphasis there is on eco-friendly practices, how would you work that into your answers? How would you impress those hiring managers with your understanding of this big issue?
That's a great way to connect your values to what's important in the industry today.
And that's a wrap on our Assayer interview deep dive. We've explored the role, tackled the tough questions, even discovered some secret weapons with RoleCatcher. You're all set to conquer that interview.
Confidence and preparation, those are your keys. Believe in yourself, show your passion, and you'll land that dream job.
And don't forget about RoleCatcher. It's an amazing resource to guide you on your career journey. Good luck, future assayers. We're excited to see you succeed.